This is my reply to Alan's great speech. Ladies and gentlemen, because it's, I suppose, to all of you, mein Damen und Herren. So when Angelica asked me a few months ago if I'd be prepared to give a reply to the toast, to the lassies tonight, it was very much, not for a lack of time that left me time to prepare, but the fact that my reply, while illustrating the vices and lack of morality of the members of the male, the unfairer sex, this should end on a complimentary note. Well, Robert Burns represented the aspirations of the common man, and he put into song many of our better ideas and ideals and verbalized our higher instincts. He also had a mawkish sense of bawdry humour, and in that vein, then he made a sincere effort to begin his reply on a complimentary note by beginning at the look and the size of Scottish manhood. Because I would like to illustrate, years ago in England, we used to have an advert or werbung for Scots porridge oats, where they showed two tall strapping men in kilts and stringed vests tossing the cable, which is the big wooden telegraph pole, and strutting their stuff and having consumed a hearty breakfast of hot porridge. And the commercial began, however, filming and using two English actors, as they couldn't find any Scottish actors of the right build, either tall or strapping enough. And years ago, recounting to a small 5'2" Scottishman, which would be about this size, actually, sorry, Glaswegian man, about this high, of whom I repeated and said about this TV commercial, and he made a theory that there were no big, strong Scottish men left anymore because the creme de la creme of Scottish manhood had all been used up as cannon fodder by the English in the last two world wars, leaving only the small and the little ones of the litters left at home to be bred. And whilst, and what about the Scottish sense of style and dress? Well, there is a theory that ancestral pics, these men painted themselves in indigo, which is a blue, so their wives couldn't see what they were up to when they were out in the heather with the women from next door. However, though, Scotland is possessed now by an obsession with tartan. And according to one historian prior to Robert Burns, the average clan gathering used to look like a parade of tatty bags, which are sort of scruffy bags, you know, really. But the chief purpose of the original tarts was camouflage. And then now, modern tartan is the only way that men, dressed in modern tartan, the only way you men could hide would be on a chessboard. So, do we agree, ladies, with the statement that the kilt is an aphrodisiac?
Oh, yes. I'm very glad to hear that.
I once heard someone say that your man could hawk himself out in a tight pair of jeans or an Italian suit, and there was nothing doing. But should he, and I quote, have his hurdies with the passion pleats, and it doesn't seem to matter what kind of women you are, rich, poor, old or young, that they just go, what's a good deal? That they just melt at the knees and submit. And a social anthropologist who was asked why the kilt should be the greatest knee trembler just laughed and said, accessibility, old chap. That's what fascinates them. Accessibility.
To the knee.
Ladies, take care. And I'm not speaking from experience here when I suggest that.
Not yet, do.
But the answer to what a Scotsman wears under his kilt is best left to the imagination. However, Scotsmen have acquired a few social graces over the past 100 years. And they don't belch in your face of your woman, and especially if they're married to them. And some of them, I'm told, even take their socks off. But nowadays, alibis for bad behaviour based on deprived Scottish childhood are so commonplace that they're ignored unless you can prove that you were breastfed by your father. Robert Burns didn't tolerate fools easily, and in an epigram addressed to a gentleman at table who kept boasting of the company he kept, he wrote, "What of lords with whom you've supped, and of dukes that you've dined with, yes then, a louse, sir, is still a louse, though it crawled on the locks of a queen." And Burns, who died at 37, united music, realism, comedy and humanity in a manner seldom seen. He was a true champion of the common man, and would he still have been today when the common man is so common as Rabsy Nesbitt. You'll have to look on YouTube to follow that up, but that's an insider tip of what contemporary Glasgow is like. And as they would say in Glasgow, what should we drink to? Well, about 3 o'clock in the morning. So ladies, I'll just quickly wind up that I've recently received a chain letter from the Shetland Isles, but unlike most chain letters, this one, despite being postmarked Shetlands, didn't cost anything. And this letter was started by a lady like yourself in the hope of bringing relief to others, tired and discontented women. Just bundle up your husband or boyfriend and send him on to the next woman at the top of the list. Then add your name to the bottom of the list and send a copy to 5 of your friends who feel equally tired and discontented. And when your name comes to the top of the list, you will receive 3,125 men. And some of them are bound to be better than the one you've just given up. And there are 3 rings in marriage: the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffering. The wedding rings, Burns wrote, she asked why wedding rings are made of gold. I ventured this to instruct her. Why, madam, love and lightning are the same. On earth they glance, from heaven they came. Love is soul's electric flame, and gold its best conductor. So men may not be the greatest believers in the institution of marriage, but let me remind you of something. There's only one thing worse than being a bachelor, and that's being a bachelor's son. So lassies, for those of you who are still looking for Mr. Right, the message is clear: head north of the border.